October 2nd meeting of Montgomery County election. Probably would like to listen to the budget.
Justice for
Important topics to discuss today. Got 100,000 people in Jewish households in Montgomery County. And Florida certainly knows that acutely because of the state of the schedule. Like Passover and we had to work to make sure everyone has their voice heard, making all the adjustments to our polling places, and hopefully that will never happen again. I understand the way the calendars work, but Happy New Year to everyone observing. We'll go over a couple topics that we can hear from our director of elections today. The first 2 weeks ago, Montgomery County received a letter from the Republican National Committee, followed by a lawsuit that contained assertions that Montgomery County do not follow testing protocols before printing them on our ballots. Just want to say very clearly and emphatically to everyone that that's not true. We complied with all the required testing, and the Department of State have provided a public statement, which you can read, that this lawsuit is frivolous. We took all the necessary steps. So we're going to address that in court next week. Montgomery County is going to continue to move forward, providing access to mail-in ballots, both in person at our satellite offices and here at Montgomery Plaza, as well as across the county in terms of voters who are receiving my ballots, which there's been 120,000 so far. Elections. The second update, proud to share that our drop boxes and satellite locations will be open and available starting this Friday, October 4th. And Frank's going to provide an update on that as well. As a refresher, the Board of Elections voted previously to expand number of satellite offices and drop boxes around the counties. Now going to have 18 drop boxes, double satellite offices, now 8, and that brings more than half the county of voting age population to less than a 5-minute drive from a safe, secure, convenient location to drop off. So the new locations are south of as well, Abington District Court, Harleysville District Court, the Dublin District Court, and White Marsh District Court. And given that these are magistrate judge offices that provide IT security in terms of we're able to access their leases are owned by the county, so that made things easier for our management to make this expansion happen. Yeah, you can also go pay your parking ticket. So you time it through. So the new secure ballot drop box locations are Abington Township Court, Harleysville District Court, Lansdale Connections Office, Marion District Court, Dublin District Court, White District Court. The drop boxes are available 24/7, 7 days a week, starting Friday. And here in one Montgomery Plaza will be open 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. to the drop box in the block, and weekends 6 a.m. to 10. The drop boxes will all close at 8 p.m. on election. It's very important. That's what we have to receive your ballot. The satellite offices will be open Friday through Monday from the 4th until Monday, October 28th. You can't have them open the weekend before the election. Those are, make sure those are fully accounted for. Only vote once. So all the locations and hours that I just mentioned are on moncovotes.com, and anyone can visit that and find a number of frequently asked questions, hours, drop-off locations, everything you need right there, as well as the registration form. Registration date is October 21st, deadline to register to vote. And you can also apply for a mail-in ballot there. And of course, there's no excuse needed. You don't have to be out of town. You can mail in, even if you're here in Montgomery County, and just vote for the house. So you can find all that on the site. Finally, if you received your ballot in the mail, we just really want to encourage you to return it as soon as possible so that we can let you know if there are any errors with it. It's continued litigation in the state. Hasn't quite been settled yet in terms of whether we can count ballots misdated or undated outer envelopes. But right now we cannot count those. So if we do to either do it right the first time or respond when we reach out so we can fix it. And same thing goes for ballots without a secrecy on so-called naked ballots. So the sooner you vote, the sooner we can tell you if there's any error that needs to be fixed. Finally, I should also mention that this Saturday, we're getting ready to launch our voter services mobile satellite office, the first of its kind here in Pennsylvania, and it's equipped to provide the same resources, guidance, processes that you find at any satellite office, but we're going to be able to reach a community where they are. And so you'll be hearing a lot more about that in coming days. And that, before we move over to our public comment, turn it over to Commissioner Winder for comments. And then Commissioner Cabello, if you have comments. Yeah. Okay. So we'll move to public comment, and then I'll bring up the Board of Elections Director of Elections after that. So any public comments?
Yes, Joe Rooney.
Yes, go ahead. My name's Joe Rooney. I live in Abington, and I was here after the primary election and brought up 20 instances of illegal voting. For the president, did you get my email that I sent on September 23rd and then followed up on September 26th? I sent it to your office.
So I forward any such emails to our solicitor in our elections.
You say yes or no? You don't know? So what happens is I only have a certain amount of time, and I try to respect that and have important things to talk about. So I actually wrote you, and you understand my concerns, and I spoke with you privately here. And so I think what issues I brought up are legitimate. I'm gonna have to spend some of my time going over this stuff here, which is impinging on me. But basically, I was told that your office coordinates with the Monco DA to monitor people who are watching the drop boxes. Is this true? That's a question I asked, and I'm requesting to be included in those discussions. The second thing I brought up was I'd like to know what actions were taken by your office regarding the multiple violations of PA election law that I exposed during the primary. Because people need to have confidence that our election board is taking violations seriously. And then what was the response of the Monco DA when this information was turned over to that office? This is important. And finally, if there are any county law enforcement resources dedicated to the drop boxes, what will be the focus of those officials? That's what I wrote you. And just for people who are watching or concerned, I try to do it in a timely manner, and I'm trying to be professional about this. I got no response to any of those questions, so I'm here at the board to bring them up. And then I asked if I could get some time with you last week to go over these issues before the meeting. I didn't get anything. So here's the problem. I've gone through Abington, Cheltenham, and Willowbrook Annex. And I'm just gonna let you know, in Abington, in the last 10 days, and you probably are aware of this, there was a woman at 1800 Horace Avenue who was followed home from a casino. And there ended up being a shooting in her house with her son protecting somebody who entered her house and was violent with her. On September 18th, there was a woman beaten in a Roslyn laundromat. On September 18th, there was also 2 carjackings in Abington. Here's the thing. I can't believe in the community I grew up in, this is right. This is what's going on. Abington's becoming an unsafe place. I want to know between 8 o'clock at night and 8 o'clock in the morning, what is the county doing to ensure the safety of individuals who might be coming up to these drop boxes? Now, I don't know if you've been there. I'm going to invite you to come with me for 1 hour when the drop boxes are open late at night at the Cheltenham tax office. And you can see how dark that is. There's no reason with this stuff that's going on that these people should be going there, and you are inviting physical safety issues when these drop boxes are open between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. That's one issue I wanted to bring up. This is what Lieutenant Fink said. Police are warning others to be aware of their surroundings in Abington Township. So that's something that I'm going to make sure for Abington, Willow Grove Annex, and Cheltenham that you understand that. There's not a reason. Nobody goes to these drop boxes for regular issues at that time at night. Now, there's 2 other things. I know, I think I just beat, but real quickly, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. So the voter van, I went and actually talked to people today because Meadowbrook Apartments is doing a voter registration. I was told yesterday it was being handled by the county. I called the county today. They said, no, they're not. I went back to Meadowbrook. Now I'm trying to track down. It says an official will be there to do it. And then I started hearing about the voter van. I never heard of it until right now. So this is a new operation because I talked to a gentleman in your office this morning about it and trying to understand it. How much was that van? What's the budget for it? And is it nonpartisan? And then the last question I have, you just said, this is a new thing in the state. Where'd you get the idea? Did the idea come from some political advisor, or did this idea come from somewhere? Like there's nowhere in the state you went. So how did you do it? And I have more stuff. I used up my time. I thank you for a little extra time, and I look forward to the answers.
Of course. Happy to answer some of those. Do we have any other public comments? Go ahead.
You want me to call him up now?
Yeah, you can call them up and I'll respond at the end of all the comments.
Glenn Smith,
Sorry, I'm just signing. I didn't realize it was. I'm good.
for public.
So if I'm going to stay on the Dropbox, there's a question regarding the DA. That's an independent office. We refer information to them as necessary, and they have what we'd like to handle it. So that's generally how we work on issues relating to security, and we have had conversations in general with all of our county our colleagues, whether it's public safety, whether it's the sheriff, whether it's security, whether it's the DA's office, the detective bureau, and we care deeply about everyone's safety in this election. And they are going to monitor for instances of harassment, intimidation, just as they would in any other election. They have a tip line that they posted for individuals who have tips that they want to call in and report behavior, whether it's at a precinct or a drop box, as you mentioned, or whether it's at tabulation or anything. And they're going to handle those the way that they would any other law enforcement activity. So we don't tell them what to do or not to do. We just report the information. The other thing in regard to drop boxes generally, I think we have them monitored 24/7 by camera, as you all know, and that's part of the reason they're opening this Friday, is to make sure that all of them are secure. And so that's something that the DA will have access to and make clear in the press conference we had on security a week ago, which is that if there are instances, he specifically noted that they have ways of tracking down who is, if they have reason to follow up on a potential crime, they can track down who that is based on the footage. So I can't speak more to that because that's not what we do. That's very much in the province of the DA's office. in regard to the mobile satellite office, absolutely, it's nonpartisan. Anyone can register to vote at the satellite office. You know, if one gets asked what party they are, except on the form, if you want to register with a specific party, that's it. And it's going to be run like all of our satellite offices, and I'll bring our director of elections. He can talk a little bit more about that.
And if I can say, you know, part of our responsibility as a board, we all bring unique perspectives to the table. So you made a comment about if, the mobile services being the first in Pennsylvania, and where did the idea come from? You know, it came from his, and it came from something that he wanted to do. So you can say no, you can say no. But we all bring different ideas to this office. And that was one idea that he raised, and we're working to operationalize it.
Well, since you guys talk, I feel I have to say something. Let me run down your questions real quick because, as I recall or remember them, one is satellite offices are, as mentioned, open Friday to Monday. There are operating procedures that have been established and good follow through from the previous elections. The mobile van is a satellite office that's basically going to be on wheels, but it costs at least close to 140,000 or more. I don't know. I never got the exact number. I know when it was approved at 145,000, and then there was money that was put on to put wrap on it, whatever it may be. I don't know who's going to be on the van because I just got the operating procedures that I've been asking for a while. I just got them late this morning. I scanned through them. I have a bazillion questions about that van itself, and you do bring up security. And this is again, that's an issue with people being out, especially with the high temperature of this election. So I do have concerns of people being on that van as well. It is a partisan or nonpartisan. I mean, again, I don't know who's going to be on the van. The saddle, you raised a great point also about the drop boxes being open 24/7, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Majority of them are when you go there, if you go to Green Lane in the middle of the woods, these are not very secure locations. They're not monitored. I wish we would stop saying that they're monitored. They're not monitored. There's a camera that's videotaping. But again, a video of an event is after the fact. So if somebody goes to one of these unsecure locations where there's no one at, and I mean, it's crime for somebody waiting in the woods or whatever it may be. I mean, this is the society we live in. It's unfortunate, but this is where we are. But we're inviting certain things to happen in these unsecure locations of people that may have intentions of going there at 3 a.m. to drop off their ballot for whatever reason, but they're not secure. There's no one there. There's no security. There's no oversight. As far as the instances that you brought up in the primary, the videotapes were reviewed. It was determined that yes, some people dropped off multiple ballots, but because there was 2 people in a car, the assumption was that must have been for those 2 people, but nothing further happened related to that. So I anticipate that we'll see that again. And I don't know if I have to look into this because in Montgomery County, I don't know if it's Montgomery County or the state, but I'll look into it myself. That designated agent form, you could have one designated agent form, and you could bring in a stack full of ballots. I don't believe that's an accurate statement, but I'm going to look into that as well. I'll follow up with my own legal team because of the advice that I seem to be getting. I'm not necessarily comfortable with right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just add something else, which is that I don't think you're inviting problems by having drop boxes open. I think they are secure. Thousands of people voted in the primary drop boxes without problems. And we should let people know that it is a secure, easy, accessible way to return your ballot. And that's really important for us to convey rather than to scare people and think that there's going to be a crime committed against them. I think that's really a troubling message. And if you think of the 600 boxes, USPS boxes around the county, as well as hundreds of thousands of mailboxes. Our drop boxes, which will secure that.
Okay, I wasn't actually referring to the drop boxes when I was talking about, what I was referring to is that in the middle of the night, in the areas that things happen, and people have been attacked at mailbox in the middle of the night. I mean, things happen. And I just want to make sure that when we put out there that the boxes are monitored, that's not a true statement. People need to know and understand that when they go to one of these locations in the middle of the night, they need to be aware of their surroundings, because we are not providing a safe environment around these drop boxes. I didn't say anything about the drop box itself. I'm talking about the surroundings as what Mr. Rooney was referring to.
Okay, got it. I'm gonna bring up, actually, let me just move to approve. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the minutes from the last three meetings, June 27th, June 8th, August 15th, and actually the 4th, September 5th. It's Montgomery County Election Board is in the second. Before the comment. All in favor? Aye. This minutes are approved. Yes, I'll bring up our Director of Elections. He's going to raise a number of issues, starting with authorization of polling location changes.
The election board, first up, I'd like to request authorization for relocation of a few polling locations for the 2024 general election taking place on November 5th, 2024. The Board of Elections is given the authority by the election code to relocate polling locations as they see fit. Today, I am seeking approval of the board to relocate 2 polling places. These locations are listed in the agenda attachment titled October 2nd, 2024 polling location changes. More specifically, they are Horsham 1, 2, and Whitfield 7. Notice has been posted at these locations. The polls are being moved as required by law. The locations have been all notified of the move. We have notified the representatives from the county Republican and Democratic parties. And in addition to the notice being posted, every voter in these precincts will be mailed a new voter ID card indicating the location change and identifying their new polling location. Those are scheduled to go out in the mail Friday, pending this board's approval. I'm happy to answer any questions you have and request that the board approve these relocations as presented.
Could you just give a brief high-level reason why we're locating, just for public?
Of course, Horsham 1, 2, we were unable to secure the sole use by our polling location staff on election day. We always want to make sure that we're the only people operating in our spaces. And the Whitfield 7, St. Dunstan's Episcopal Church is closing. So we are moving it to the Whitfield Township.
Right. I'll make a motion to approve the relocation of the polling places named on the attached document titled October 2nd, 2024, polling location changes, beginning with the November 5th, 2024 general election, continuing for all elections going forward. For a second. Any board comment? Seconded by Commissioner Winder. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Right. I have a question.
So like, do you hear us voting, or do we have to have because we can only turn one on at a time?
Oh, really?
I would test them.
But do you need us to turn these on when we vote?
Yes, please.
Okay, just one.
Hold them while you talk.
Or just, yeah, get closer to them and make sure they're pointed at you.
Sure.
But we need to turn it.
To hold it.
And yeah, so when we vote, we vote. Sorry.
Just wanted to.
Define it.
Okay, so now we're just gonna get update on a number of different issues. Go ahead.
As of today, we have 398 polling locations confirmed. With the response from we have 400 judges of election confirmed. I'm confident that the remaining number will be confirmed in the next week or so. We have over 1,900 poll workers confirmed to work, and at this time, I'd like to thank everyone for their assistance, sending us poll workers that are willing to work on election day. We believe that we are going to be well and truly spread, and it is taking us longer to get back to everyone that is expressing interest than to actually assign and train the folks that have already put into our application process. Always send in an application. We do add you to a database. We will get in touch with you if we do have a need in your precinct.
Do you know those for students?
I do not know.
So, Frank, a question. somebody reached out to me, I'm not gonna say what specific township, municipality, but they reached out and was concerned that that area of, majority of polling places, the inspectors of the state party. And there's a concern that, many that aren't elected inspectors were appointed, and I guess I thought you're going to be appointed for the year, for the election. I don't know, but they just was a concern that of all the polling locations, majority polling locations, poll inspectors were of the same party. So we can rectify this. All right, great, thank you. I'll tell them, I don't want to, get involved in it. I don't have to, but I'll tell them to reach out for it. Thank you.
As was mentioned, Dropbox will be open this Friday. The locations have already been mentioned. All locations are available at montgomery.com. At the satellite offices, you will be able to do anything you will be able to do here at Montgomery, including receive and hand in your mail-in ballot. Are there any questions regarding the satellite offices?
Dropbox.
Either.
So, I know we're gonna have hours, I guess we're gonna have hours.
Yes.
That's right. What time is that anticipated opening time of Dropbox?
We are sending multiple teams out to open up Friday morning. Our goal is to have them all open by noon. By hand. Speaking of mailing, we have processed 131,000 applications for mailing ballots. We have approximately 12,000 applications outstanding. We have mailed 159,000 ballots. So the remainder will be transmitted to our print vendor every other day to ensure the 3-day turnaround is printed. Thus far, we received 14,000 mail-in ballots back. And we will be able to provide the return papers by Dropbox location once it's approximately 200 so far have been identified, with varying deficiencies of invalid date, signed, naked ballot, or ID not verified, in which case all of them except ID not verified would require a cancel and replace. We will be reaching out to those voters by phone, email, and a letter. The ID not verified, the voter just needs to provide an additional form for us to be able to count their ballot. All of those voters are notified the same way. They're also just the additional step is we provide things to return to us. We have also started soliciting for assistance with the mail-in canvas. Happy to report that all of our shifts, 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. are full with wait lists. In the 10 to 15 people range. After 10 p.m., we start to get a little bit light. So people are still interested in assisting and they would like to help out at the canvas. We'll be running trainings. Make sure you apply through to training and you can sign up for one of those overnight shifts. Yes. Yes. Yes.
So that when we were doing LA, we was gonna have donuts and I went and did it.
Didn't have
We're gonna come back.
At this point, we're receiving about 1,500 to 2,000 phone calls a day. We have an additional 10 temporary staff members being onboarded this Monday and have set up additional workstations so that we can increase the number of applications we're processing each day and increase our ability to return voters' phone calls. Certainly, with a lot of our mail hitting the hitting mailboxes last weekend due to the humidity and the rain. There were concerns about sealed envelopes. Our preference is that voters reach out and obtain a replacement envelope from us. But if a voter has sealed it, we will just contact them to confirm that they are the ones who in fact opened it. If they just need to cut open their secrecy envelope, they can reuse that. They can tape that. It's just the outer envelope, the one with the barcode on it, that they need to pay attention to. There were both. There were people that were afraid because they knew their ballot was on the way and they were hearing that ballots were arriving sealed. I believe there was also an Inquirer about it, an article about it happening in Philadelphia, which I think drove some of those, but we aren't seeing a mass surge in calls ourselves. Of voters obtaining canceled places.
It's happening. It's not. Yeah. Yeah, it's like. Right? Yeah.
Yes. This is something we encounter every single year.
I can understand.
Of course. Yes.
Right. Trent, right. Dad, if you make it safer.
Yes.
What's the one?
It can be taped. We will just contact them because we are not investigating apparent damage to anyone.
So I think it's. Right here. Right.
No, they don't even need to call, they can just send in the cancel replace form and that ballot will go out to them. Then it's and their replacement will be, well.
Election code permits county boards to make and issue such rules, regulations, and instructions they may be necessary for the guidance of elections. Something that is wording or requesting the adoption of policies, which I will briefly outline for now. These policies have been distributed to each of you for your review prior to the meeting. I'll be giving you a high level overview, pointing out some important distinctions. Diverting from some already previously established policies. Ballot curing, the policy proposes when a voter returns a ballot envelope unsigned, undated, or only dated, missing a secrecy envelope, or any issue that they keep from being included in the canvas. Ballot package will not be included with ballots deemed received by the board. These voters will be contacted by county staff using whatever information we have on file for them. The list of voters will be made publicly available so voters can check their own status. The document outlines curing procedures the voters may follow as the policy allows voters the option to come in person on Montgomery Plaza or any of our satellite locations to have the ballot canceled, be issued a replacement, or they can fill out the paperwork requesting the ballot be canceled. It's voter services office via email. And replacement ballot can be issued to them via USPS. For canvas and canvas procedures, this document involves policies and procedures to be followed pre-canvas and canvas of our mail-in ballots on election day. It covers generally how ballots are processed, reviewed, and scanned as part of the pre-canvas and canvas process. It also outlines procedures for watchers which designates the people permitted to attend. And the notice requirements for attendance, which have changed in previous elections. Under this proposed policy, watchers must be identified in advance by the party or candidate they will be representing, sending to the board a notice via email providing the name and address of any authorized watchers. Those in attendance on election day, notice must be received by 12 p.m. on Saturday before the election. For anyone attending any day after it's not already been submitted, 48 hours notice will be required. Notice speak at once, notified. Someone is serving as a watcher, they are free to attend anytime canvass is in operation. The procedure outlines requirements for watchers, which includes areas they are permitted to view. We have proposed an update to the level of access by watchers. Policy proposes that once per hour, a designated staff member will log 2 watchers at a time, each in a separate political affiliation, pre-canvass and canvass operation, to provide them with additional opportunity to observe the process. I'm requesting board vote on the acceptance of these policies, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Yeah, those are the only 2 policies that are.
We're gonna canvassing.
Correct.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the policies and procedures and set forth attached documents. Yes, and this policies and procedures and ballot hearing procedures, getting immediately continuing all future elections. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Winder. Is there any more comment?
Um, Well, I've been asking for a couple months that I said about having the ability for watchers to have access to be able to walk around at both the warehouse and where central processing is. I provided a number, and then there, which we haven't even talked about the warehouse, which, but I also referred to central processing. I've made recommendations. I said this could be easily done. I've talked to other counties that do it. They have no problems. And what came back was, I don't even understand what this means. Every hour, a representative will walk people around. I said that I requested that we have a designated number of watchers from both parties that have the ability to watch what's going on in central processing and at the warehouse. I get if we want to have somebody there for to intercept questions or whatever it may be, but I don't understand what walk around means. Does that mean they walk around for 5 minutes and then they're brought back to the cattle area or what? I mean, because this whole process with taking security away from the drop boxes, everything I've been talking about, I've been trying to avoid. All we're doing is we're falling into the trap of secrecy. There's something in the policy, what people can't have binoculars. Why not? It's there to, I mean, because they're so far away. What's the big deal? I agree with the point of not allowing pictures and all that, but so what if we're forcing people to be so far away and they can't see well? Who cares if they have a small thing of binoculars? What is binoculars? I can't even understand that. But there's no reason why we can't even have 2 people per party at central processing being able to watch what's going on during the ballot canvassing and also the ballot scanning, because they're separate. In the cattle area or the quarantine area, whatever we want to call it, you can't see everything that's happening. So what we want to make sure, other counties allow, but Montgomery County, we got to make sure that we're keeping people as far away as possible so they can't witness or see the canvassing process. And, we could eliminate a lot of headache, but we're not allowing it. So it's unfortunate. It was a small ask and it's easily done because like I said, I've talked to other counties and they said, and I asked them, is there any issues? Do you have problems with people? They said, no, everybody's pretty, because they just want to watch what's going on. And you know, so that's one of my questions, well, there are a couple of things that, with both of those, and so anyway, that's fine.
So. Couple things. One, I think even if you have binoculars, it's a very slow moving and boring process. It's not. But, I do think we're actually enacting a policy today that is making it easier to watch. Is that correct?
The code requires, that watchers are permitted to be in the room. And it's been, this was litigated, prior to the 2020 general election, courts have established the presence of the rooms. Really the base standard, what we, operated with under 2020 was the, bullpen situation that we currently have with an overflow room for, watchers who, can then, watch the closed circuit camera system that's throughout the building. I think what we were doing here was taking into consideration concerns that we have for, you know, the space that we work in, you know, in a variety of aspects. No two counties are the same, in the way they operate, and, some places have more space to do this than others. I think if you've been in when we are in the middle of Canvas, it is an extremely crowded, extremely busy place, and we have to balance concerns of access with the concerns of balance security of our personnel and their ability to do the job that they're there to do. What we're doing with this proposed policy is allowing points throughout the campus where watchers who want to get a closer look are able to walk through the process accompanied by a staff member so they can see what's going on. They can ask that staff member questions and then return to the pen if they would like to go through again in the next hour. They're permitted to do that. This seems from our perspective to be a compromise between all of the factors that we have to weigh in this process.
One of the things I have, so obviously there was an incident in Virginia. I think somebody, their family from them, and that it became a conspiracy theory that it was USB drive, and that was going to create fraudulent votes, and that was disproven. I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm not familiar with that.
This led to the, I think this led to the second. There's a lot of cases. Okay, but this is you know, two polar, you know, have their lives ended by this, right? What do we do in polar and that kind of issue? Yes, you say misrepresenting what's happening here.
Through the policy or just generally?
I mean, there's cameras, right?
Yes.
So are there faces on the cameras? Is it, or how is that information?
So our closed circuit system is only, you know, viewable by people that are in the room. And to the extent, I mean, our workers are going to be able to be identified. I know we're very, this is part of why we don't want to allow video or photography in there. Partially for the reason that we want to make people as comfortable as possible working in that environment as they can be. So, you know, those are part of those steps.
You can't see everything on the cameras first. Second, blocking somebody around. There's no reason. I've been there, I've seen it. There's enough for people, even like I said, being on both sides of the wall. It's not an unrealistic ask. Well, it's demonstrating it's working. Because the first off, the bullpen idea was one place because of pulpit. So it never came off because nobody ever questioned, push back. And again, walking somebody around for 5 minutes and telling them to get back to their spot is just ridiculous.
I can address one. was part of the implementation process of our current canvas procedures. At no point was the bullpen put in place because that was planned prior to COVID. It would have existed that way if COVID had or had not occurred.
So I'll just say, one, thank you for taking the time to put together the policies. You know, the fact that we haven't been doing this before and it's the proper term open. The proper term.
I mean, I think everyone knows that that's what we're talking about, yes.
So this is a compromise. This is an answer to towards giving people a closer look to our canvassing process. I want to thank you for giving us a policy that allows people to do that.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
So,
Any opposed? No. Motion passes. To report. Okay, any closing comments?
I just want to reiterate, our team voluntarily is doing a lot of great work to deliver on our elections. It's a high stakes, high pressure environment for the team that's in the room today. Also, you know, hundreds of people that will ensure that we deliver a free, fair, safe election. And so I just continue to thank Frank. Thank you for your leadership. And John, thank you for the work that you're doing to ensure that what we are doing is above the law. And I know there are different opinions on this board, but I continue to have a high level of confidence in our team that's working hard to deliver on the election for this.
I agree. The staff is working extremely hard and I have all the confidence in the world in Frank and everything that he's doing and everything he's been doing. It's all the other issues that I've raised that they don't have the confidence in. Thank you.
Okay, just add. If I'll absolutely praise it, Frank. Great job. Great. Thank you for what you're doing. We've got 35 days. And I know that's not the end, because then we're gonna get certification and everything. So thank you for the whole team. Let us know. Yeah. Support the team. Thanks, John. I think it's very robust set of policies that I think will balance all the interests appropriately as discussed. Yeah. I'm excited about the fact that 14,000 people have already voted. I think it's great to hear that the numbers keep going up in terms of requests. Yeah. People are heard and with this weekend, we got a lot of feedback from some officers. Thanks for everything you're doing. Go ahead.
One other thing, is it possible that I could get a list of where canvassing van's gonna be at? What's the schedule, where this thing is going? And how we're gonna protect against ballot harvesting and places that it goes. I'm gonna get that information. Because we do know ballot harvesting does go on and we're just propagating it by putting that out to certain locations.
I have no response for that. I'm not. We can talk. Just want to make clear that people voting, no matter where they're voting, whether it's Dropbox, whether it's almost that box, whether it's here, they're voting as eligible registered citizens. Very secure process to ensure that's the case. Every single ballot that is printed, whether it's in the ballot office, whether it's printed here, whether it's printed at our print vendor that mails them out directly to voters, is a barcode individualized to the person. So no one is creating ballots, no one is harvesting ballots that have been there. They're all ballots that have been counted, registered, and mailed. It's a very simple process. All right. In a motion to adjourn the October 2nd, 2024 meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Elections. Second.
Second.
Comment. Okay, all in favor?